This is Infection, the survival podcast recorded live on Tuesday, December 17th, 2019, episode 257. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Infection, the survival podcast. Infection is your source for the latest information on survival video games. We bring you the latest news, reviews, updates, and more each and every week. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Of course, you can visit our website. It's infectionpodcast.com. Joining me as he does each and every week from the great state of not Idaho, Idaho, Brian with an I, Aldridge. Hi, Brian.
Hey, how are you?
Doing good.
Doing all right? Good.
Doing great.
Well, if you want to find me, you can look for me at Boise Computer on Twitter. Of course, my blog, biteoftech.com. Of course, that's with an I. If you want to go check out our website, infectionpodcast.com, look on the right-hand side. You'll notice there's a button there that says join our Discord server, and that's where we've been playing a lot of games and things throughout the week. That's where you can do that. So in there's also a news channel. If you want to submit news topics for us to cover, maybe there's a game that you want us to talk about, a piece of news comes up during the week, something you want us to view, you can put it in the news channel, and we look at those before each and every episode. So there's a good chance it'll make it into the show at some point. Also, we have on there our Steam group if you want to get a little notification before the live show starts. Just one notification per week. And if you happen to be, sometimes once in a while, holidays are here, we'll do a Christmas show a little bit early or on a different day than normal. If you happen to be at your computer and get the notification, you can join us live. We have our YouTube, our Twitch, and our Mixer if you want to watch video versions, and then all the audio versions. So whatever podcast platform you happen to be listening to on. So if you're on an iPhone or you're on even on desktop apps, there's all kinds of things that you can use there and catch the audio only forms. And then the show notes for each now 257 episodes, you can go through and view different links that we've talked about, videos, all those things are there, and our live video that we recorded. So you can go check that out. And then the left-hand side, if you want to support us, but maybe you're like me and you don't buy Christmas things early. If you're going to be doing your shopping on Amazon, we have on the left a link you can support us, or you can just type amazon.infectionpodcast.com. Before you do your shopping, it doesn't cost you any more to do it, but it gives us a small percentage of your purchase, and that helps support the show. All right.
Thank you very much, Brian. Appreciate that.
Yes.
Hope you're doing well. You mentioned Christmas, which obviously is coming up 8 days from now. It'll be next Wednesday, and
I need to order stuff.
Yeah, I'm good to go. I put up a Christmas tree, by the way. It's not in the shot; it's over on the other side. I put up. I'll show them in the post show for you live listeners. So for next week, we're gonna have an abridged show. I think we're not sure yet. What it's going to be lengthwise, and since there's not really going to be a whole lot of news, we'll just be talking about some more less time-sensitive things. So hopefully you'll join us next Tuesday. It's going to be streamed live, and it will also be uploaded to YouTube and the podcast at the same time, simultaneous. So because it's Christmas Eve, and I'm sure a lot of people actually we might upload it earlier in the day and then stream it live. I'm not sure what we're going to do yet. It's going to be a pre-recorded show that we're going to do later this week. So expect that next week, and we've got a couple topics that we're planning on talking about. I'm looking forward to it. It's always a good show. We'll be dressed up as always with our fancy Christmas hat. Do you still have your light up hat?
I don't know. I'll have to look. Okay. It's somewhere around here. Excellent.
Well, I'm looking forward to that.
I know. I remember seeing one Christmas hat. I don't remember if it's the light up one. I'll look for the other one.
You got to get the light up one. So we'll have that all set up, and we'll be doing that for next week. So stay tuned for that regular show next week. On another note, we had an impromptu game of the week thanks to Green Man Cartoons and his brigade of followers that peer pressured Brian into spinning up an ARC server. Just an impromptu ARC, which is exactly what we've asked people to do. Is if you are like, hey, lead the crusade on playing a game of the week, and that's what Green Man did. And we've had people playing all weekend. There's people playing now. I played for a while over the weekend, and because of the Christmas event that we'll talk about here a little bit later on in the program, Brian, I'm thinking maybe we'll let everybody know ARC is going to be the game of the week again this Friday. I'll be playing it, sure. And because of the Christmas event, there's some cool things going on in games. So hopefully you'll join us for that on
And
Friday.
it is an accelerated server, so you can jump in there and get to a decent level, get decent base build, all that stuff, and it won't take a long. You can actually do it before Christmas,
I
so
forgot
it'll
to
give you time during this holiday to do it.
forgot to feed my animals. I don't know if anybody that's in my tribe is logged in, but hopefully they're not dead. That would suck.
I did check on mine this morning before I went to work just to see, because I didn't make a trough,
Yeah, I didn't make
and the spoil rates are lowered. So if you have
Gotcha.
food in their inventory,
I had like 200 food in
they-
each.
yeah, so they're probably still have food in their inventory.
Okay. Good.
So
That would
you'll
make.
be all right.
I only have 3 dinosaurs: a trike, a bird, and a carno. And the carno took forever to tame. I died 6 times trying to tame that carno. So if that's dead because of my ignorance, that's gonna suck. I'll never play again.
I had 2 pterodons,
Yeah.
and I lost both of them just trying to get oil to build something. And then, but then I was trying to get up this cliff, and then it's like, oh, I can just go in the water. Someone reminded me, you just go in the water like 10 feet from my base, and there's oil right there. I was like, oh, that's great. Oh well.
Fantastic. So we've got a server. It's called Infection Podcast. You can search for it. It's password free, so you can just go ahead and jump on that. It's up, and it's now got the Christmas event on that we'll talk about a little bit later on in the program. Let's if it's all right with you, Brian, I'd like to start off with a little bit of a summary of the Game Awards and kind of talk about a couple of things that got announced with that. Did you have a chance to watch the Game Awards?
No, I haven't. Was not home.
So I wasn't home either, and I watched them. I watched it today, or I should say, I didn't say I watched it. I had it on the side today when I was working, so I was pausing it and watching it and listening to it as the day went on. I got to tell you what, I don't know if it was the element that it wasn't live. I felt that it was very lackluster this year.
No.
Just based on the amount, like what they showed, there were a couple of larger announcements that we'll get to. But I felt that the Game Awards are pretty lackluster. And I don't really, I feel like years past, the Game Awards has almost overshadowed E3 in some ways. I didn't feel that this year at all. I thought it was just kind of it's kind of what its name entails. It was a video game award show, which is fine. But I just feel like in years past, it's kind of been more of an award show. I don't know. I wasn't all that entrenched with it. The game of the year was Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice. Best community support was Destiny 2. Best music and / score was Death Stranding. Best narrative was Disco Elysium. Best fighting game was Smash. Best audio design was Call of Duty. Best strategy was Fire Emblem. Content creator of the year was Shroud. And it just goes on and on and on. I don't know. I felt very disconnected from the video game awards.
So how does Shroud beat out like Dr. Disrespect, for instance, on content creation?
Well, I didn't know any of the guys in the list besides Shroud. I'd never heard of any of the other.
I mean,
individuals.
the thing I look at is like Shroud sits and just talks while he plays video games.
Okay.
That's all he does. Dr. Disrespect actually creates content. He puts on a show.
Well, okay, but I believe the content creator of the year also had to do with like giving back to the community. I'm not sure.
So they're putting other things.
What's the word I'm looking for? Philanthropic work. I can't pronounce it.
I know the word you're talking about, but if I say it now that you've just jumbled it up so much, philanthropy.
Philanthropy. I can't say it, whatever. I think
make it harder.
Yeah. I think that's what it was for, because I remember them talking about it. It was like, oh, the streamer of the year is this, and this, and gives back to whatever. And I think that's what more it was. I didn't recognize any, and believe me, I'm not all entrenched in the e-celebrity scene by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I don't know. I don't know. It wasn't all that great. Now what was great?
So one thing I want to mention, do you think that partially is because we're at the very end of a console generation, first of all, where probably in years past, we'd have breakthroughs in technology and it's like, oh, look at that. That looks so much better. Or this is so much better. And we're kind of at the end of the hardware of what you can do. Everything is kind of maxed out what's capable on these consoles. I just feel like it's hard for them to really create something that's going to wow us, because they've already shown us for a couple of years now what the hardware can do. And that's it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of things. Obviously, there was a lot of talk of Fortnite and things like that. These games that are new, but Fortnite's been out for what, 3 years now? I mean, so it's not new. It's not a new game anymore. So I mean, there's some cool stuff. Now we will talk about. You mentioned, Brian, that the generation war, and there was announced a new Xbox at this event. Now, I'm not gonna play the video just because there really isn't anything on the video worth hearing or seeing. It was just this kind of weird trailer. But I'll go over a couple of the bullet points of the note here. So the new Xbox is going to be called the Series X. So it's going to be called Xbox Series X, which is stupid, just as stupid as the Xbox One was, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, how much does the name really matter? It's going to support a lot of cross-platform backplay things, so you'll be able to use and pretty much play your entire Xbox One library on it. The controller is also cross-compatible with the different generations of the console. They're promising 60 FPS 4K with the possibility of 120 depending on the game. As I said, full backwards compatibility. It's going to have it's an AMD custom processor, solid state memory. You'll be able to have multiple games running at the same time in kind of like a save state sleep mode, which is cool. But that's about all we have.
So the main thing is it's not going to make you close a game to open another one, because that's the current operation is if you switch games, it says you have to close this other game before.
Now that had me thinking. Have you ever had more than one game open on your PC at a time? Because I don't.
No, but think of it in the mobile space. You got to think of it more of how you think of a phone. You might minimize or switch out of a mobile game, and then or an application, then you launch that again, and then you're just swapping
but you can launch
other sleep in the background.
But you can launch other apps. Like you can have a game on the Xbox One, at least. I don't know about the PlayStation. Actually, I know for the PlayStation One, you can have a game open and then go to the store, and it doesn't close out the game. You just can't.
But if you launch another game, it does.
But that's my point. That's my point, though. Is like what? I don't know why you'd want to have more than one game launched anyway. Every game,
so it starts back up faster.
True, I mean maybe, but every game has got a save state. Almost every game has got save states, right? Where you can just save at any point in the menu, you can just save. So I thought that was kind of, it's cool, but then I thought about it like, okay, I've got a PC here. I've never had two games open at the same time because that doesn't make any sense. I'm not playing two games. If I'm done playing a game, I close it. I'll reopen it when I want to play it again. It was interesting to see Microsoft jump the gun and get it out there before Sony. There was talks of the PS5. I don't remember which game it was, but they announced that they'd be coming exclusively to the PS5. I don't remember which game that was, but they did announce that, so that was interesting. But Xbox pretty much stole the show, I think, in terms of the announcements, and that was the announcement of their new Xbox, which is expected out holiday season of next year, which would fall on pace with the Xbox One and PS5, which was November of 2014. So, I mean, these systems are sick. These systems will be going on 6 years old next year, which is pretty amazing when you think about it, how much, how much we've changed. And it's an interesting design, Brian. It's a big cube.
One thing, the fact that they're putting similar games on both platforms now, like a PC game and then a game still on Xbox, where the hardware now is 6 years difference between the two.
Yeah. I thought the announcement was interesting. Definitely wasn't expecting it. I don't think anybody was expecting it. I will say something interesting that I noted from the conference, or from the announcement. They didn't talk about Xbox Game Pass or their streaming service. They talked about making a console. And I thought that, Brian, you've kind of I'm going to say you've kind of hitched your horse on this idea that the consoles are pretty much going to go away and are going to become Chromecasts or, Fire TV kind of things in the future. And it appears, at least for the next 5 or 6 years, the average life of a console, Microsoft still believes that the future is it's got a DVD drive or a disc drive. So they still believing in physical media and games running on a computer.
But the thing is, one thing that are they looking at, does this have ray tracing? Does it have all that stuff that right now seems new, but
no, it's not.
6 years from now,
no,
6 years from now, that's gonna be the standard, and then this thing won't have it.
It's not, and it's not expected to be. Consoles have never been trendsetter. Early on, they were before PCs, but for the last 15 years, consoles really have not been trendsetters when it comes to
but
doing
they're
those
just
things.
Seem so out of date,
and they always have. But that's, I tell you what though, I turn on my 6-year-old Xbox today, it doesn't play like it doesn't work like a 6-year-old computer. I mean, I put a brand new game in it that I buy today, and the game runs at its full expected, frame rate. Whatever, it's optimized for that system. So I mean, I'm not one of these people that's expecting the latest and greatest from a console, because I don't want to spend $700 on a console. I want to spend $400 or $350, whatever.
I think it's going to become more apparent as there's more of this kind of cross pollination of PC games and console games being on both platforms and being able to be held side by side, that then you're going to start seeing these PC versions with ray tracing, and visually they're vastly superior at some point, not initially, but as it starts to age again, right? As the console starts to age, where right now, it's not exactly like that. I mean, you can kind of see it on the new Red Dead Redemption 2. You put them side by side, you can see a visual difference.
And you want to know the craziest thing about that, though? If you think about the Xbox came out in 2014, let's call development 2 years at the minimum. So you're talking about, and again, I'm not making the case that consoles are better than PC, but Brian, if you look at a new computer today and essentially a console from 2012, which is what it is, that's when it was built or starting to be built, and you look at the difference between the quality, is it really that much? Is it really 8 years, 6 years worth of?
Not right now, and I'm wondering.
But I'm saying we're at the end of this end of the span, and we've seen the pictures of Red Dead Redemption. Does it look as good on the Xbox and PlayStation? No, not at all. But you're talking about 8 years in the land of technology. It's pretty incredible that a brand new game like Red Dead.
It should be a much bigger difference between the two, which is kind of strange.
Because this is not how
they managed to do it.
Yeah, now Red Dead Redemption 2 might be a bad example because the PC version just came out, but just in general, I think Call of Duty would be a great example of a game that just came out. The images exist online. They're not. Yeah. It doesn't look as good on console, but is it an 8-year difference? Because the Xbox that's going to come out in 2020 was being developed last year, 2018. Yeah. To have a custom processor built for your thing, you don't build that in 6 months. You're talking about years and years of development to build that. More than 2 years for sure, but let's just call it 2. I'm excited for it. I've always been a console fan. That's kind of my roots. I'm looking forward to a new console. I'm all in.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to see that Microsoft now, who I think distinctively lost this console war, the Xbox One versus PS4. It's not even close. Microsoft got their shit handed to them. It was a bloodbath. I mean, Sony's console is just so far much more superior. It's interesting to see that Xbox jumped out. Well, I don't know when Sony's going to announce their thing, because they're not doing E3 anymore. They do their own thing. I don't know. Early next year, maybe we'll have an announcement for the PS5. I'm not sure.
Probably after Christmas.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there's no point in them announcing before Christmas. They want everybody to be excited about games they can get now and things they can buy now.
Yeah.
After Christmas, they'll announce it so that it doesn't risk someone saying, well, I'm going to wait on anything.
Yeah. Now, there was one other thing of a game that kind of fits our genre. And unfortunately, I can't play it because of copyright. The Cyberpunk, I was like, they were like, oh, Cyberpunk. I was like, oh, great. We're going to see gameplay, maybe, something. It was like some half-assed orchestral composition thing. The video's in our show notes, and it's like a minute of guys talking and then some music. Brian, I'm sounding the red alert siren on Cyberpunk 2077. I think we are impending towards an absolute disaster. The last thing we saw of Cyberpunk was at PAX, and it was a very poorly produced I don't know, like, deep dive is what I think what they called it. It was terrible. And that was what, at this point, 4 months ago?
Yeah, 4 or 5 months ago.
That's and this would have been a great situation and a great scene to show. The game is supposed to come out in March, right? Isn't the game supposed to be out like 3 months?
I think so. March 2020.
That's what I thought. Maybe they delayed it again. This would have been a great. This is the last event, I think, between now and March. Big game. There's PAX, but PAX is in March.
So now, it's April 16th.
Okay, same difference. March, April. I mean, you're talking about a month difference. This Video Game Awards would have been a great. By the way, it was last Thursday. I thought the Video Game Awards would have been a great place to show off some actual footage of Cyberpunk, some actual gameplay, and instead it was some and it was cool to watch. But I'm telling you what, man, put on the.
It's just weird that they're not teasing more content, more. I mean, Death Stranding. Look what Death Stranding did.
Yeah,
they were putting out clips constantly, showing, and you're like, "What does that have? Like, what is that? Like, what? How's that tie into the game?" You had a lot of content that you'd seen by the time it released, and the amount that we've seen in Cyberpunk is much, much less. As far as we've seen, like a scene of them just like taking where it was a lot of cutscenes.
Yes, almost all cutscenes.
Yeah, and that it wasn't really gameplay. Like I want to see the open world aspect,
Night City,
like how it feels in GTA. Like when in GTA, it's not all cutscenes. Like they could clip together a bunch of cutscenes to start telling a story. And when they do videos, that's what they tend to do, is just show a bunch of cutscenes together. But I want to see, just like in GTA, you driving around, getting out of your vehicle, walking up to some random thing, just doing a lot of that. And so I didn't see that. It was just one solid scene. How much of that is the world that you can actually go back to? Like, it's a big open world. Can I go back into that building where those people were? Can I go back and see all these things? So I don't know. I would love for it to work. I love the universe of it. I love the idea of it. But if it's not big, true open world, and it's really a lot of cutscenes, it's not going to be nearly as fun.
Well, and the game itself is not. I don't think the game itself will be all cutscenes. I don't think that's what I was necessarily insinuating.
No, but I'm hoping they don't lock you out. Like you're progressing through. Yeah. It needs to be a big free roam open world.
This is what bugs me, because I specifically looked up this on my lunch today. I wanted to go see what people were talking about with Cyberpunk, and I saw a lot of people saying, "Well, Red Dead Redemption didn't release a bunch of trailers and blah blah blah." That's fine, okay, but Cyberpunk has already sneak peeked a whole bunch of things. They've already done like 3 or 4 different. You didn't see anything before Red Dead Redemption. It just came out. Like they released a 60-second thing, and they're like, the game comes out this date. Cyberpunk is now done multiple different teaser events. They've done live Q&As with the developer, or supposedly live Q&As with the developer that they were supposed to host at PAX last year, as well as a live gameplay demo that they were supposed to do. They've opened Pandora's box a little bit to show everybody what's inside, and now they think they can put the lid back on. That's not how it works. Like to me, once you start showing that you're going to tease the development process, stick to it. Either show the development process or shut up until the game launches. That's my personal opinion. Take that for what it's worth, but I just don't like this. We showed you a couple things early on, and we've been radio silent for essentially 6 months, and the game is supposed to come out in 4, and it's supposed to be the most grandiose open world ever. I've just got a lot of doubt. I'm hoping it's me too. I'm hoping it's great, but I mean, press X for doubt, Brian. I'm hoping my socks are blown off, but I'm very concerned. Very concerned.
And that'll be the issue,
and it's their fault.
Hopefully it is another Red Dead Redemption 2 where it comes out and it's like, oh, this is the most amazing thing. But that's a pretty big.
This is their fault though. They have created the precedent, just like a lot of other games, that we're going to show you, we're going to trickle, we're going to give you breadcrumbs here and there, and then now I'm just supposed to be like, oh, okay. I assume you're building a game behind the scenes. I just don't know why they didn't show something at the Game Awards. They showed some 0 seconds of gameplay.
Yeah. Well, this kind of reminds me of Mavericks a little bit too. Mavericks kept talking about all the stuff, and then they kept saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, showing either pre-done clips of things or showing artist renditions of everything. And then when it came down to it, they didn't have anything. Like when the playtest happened, they had nothing. And so that just, I'm sure they've got something more in Cyberpunk. I mean, they've been working on it and it's supposedly going to be released. So I'm sure they have a lot of content, but perhaps they realize that it isn't living up to what people have built up in their heads it can be. And so they'd rather just release it, have everybody buy it, and then, let the dust kind of settle afterwards. Or it could be they're just waiting. Who knows?
It could be a bunch of things. Just telling you, keep an eye out.
All right.
Outside of that, I don't think we've got any other video game award news. Anywhere else you want to go from here before we get into some updates and some things from this week?
Well, Player Unknown, he announced a new project he's working on. So I don't know if you want to play that video really quick.
Yeah, I can. What's the name of this? What's the name of this mysterious project, Brian?
So this game is called Prologue.
Okay, and we'll show a quick little trailer here. It's not really a trailer. Sorry for the audio listeners. You're not missing out on much. So here it is.
Yeah, you're gonna love it. For the audio listeners, he's looking to the left, he's looking to the right. What's up?
Prologue.
Now it says Prologue. So it's a man looking at a forest, looking left, looking right, looking up, and then it cuts to credits.
What? So this is, it's a little confusing. So this is Brandon, from all we can gather. Is that correct?
Yes.
So this is Player Unknown. I find
so that it's not PUBG.
It's
or
not
any
Blue
of
Hole.
that. It's not
okay,
Blue
but
Hole.
You know what I find interesting though? You say that, but if you go to playprologue.com, the footer says copyright 2019 PUBG, all rights reserved. PP Player Unknown's Productions, Prologue and Play Prologue, trademarks or service marks of PUBG. So what is PUBG? Because PUBG is not Blue Hole or app. I think he might own PUBG as.
I think he owns PUBG.
He owns the copyright to PUBG, which is different from Player Unknown's Battlegrounds, which is acronym is PUBG. But so this appears to be him, his own thing. You can go on his website and fill out. You put your email address in there and get updates. What do we think of this, Brian? Is this going to be a V? I see a lot of speculation that this is going to be a VR game. It kind of looks like one in the idea that there's no HUD or anything, and the guy kind of looks to the left and looks to the right quickly. But he says that the description on this website is Prologue is an exploration of new technology and gameplay. Our aim with this game is to have players game is to give players unique and memorable experiences each and every time they play.
It's not a shooter. So
is it a survival game? It kind of looks like one based on, it looks like maybe you're waking up from some sort of disaster because you're like, and then you look to the left and look to the right and lightning strikes in front of you.
Well, one thing we're kind of wondering, so I've heard hints at this is going to be a huge, like, big world.
Yeah.
Because he says, I want a chance to deliver something new on a global scale. So, he's talking about all these new technologies. So I really think that this is going to be some sort of an open world, probably survival type of thing. I don't know though. It's hard to say from that video. There's dogs, so I would think you're being chased by somebody.
Maybe it's your dog. Maybe you woke up from something. Yeah,
it could be your dog. I mean, it's really hard to say whether this trailer gives the minimal amount of information.
Yeah, which a lot of people were critical of, but in a lot of ways, we'll have a long conversation about this on next week's program, so I hope you'll join us for that. But is it almost okay? Actually, no, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that right now. I want to say that for next week's discussion. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world for him to have not shown a whole lot in this trailer.
Yeah.
Based on what I just saw, I have zero expectations of anything.
Well, and one thing he has said in the past is he says his dream is to build worlds that are hundreds of kilometers by hundreds of kilometers without thousands of people. So he wants to make big worlds that don't have tons of people in them so that you can actually run around, eventually run into people, right? But not have it be some big open world that is just filled with 1,000 people.
You should go work at Daybreak. He'd fit right in over there. Vast worlds with no players.
With no players, along with Atlas. I mean, you're going right there.
Hopefully, we can get in touch with Brandon and get some more information on this as it becomes available. And I hope, as it was with PUBG, that as it gets closer and closer, he'll hook us up with some keys like he did. Do you remember we had like 90 PUBG keys when that was supposed to come out? So Brandon's been super cool to us in the past, and we wish him luck on this project, and hopefully we can be part of the development of that, and we'll keep you up to date. The website is playprologue.com, PROLOGUE.com.
You'll be able to watch this video, and
which is literally looping in the on the header image on the website. But you can go ahead and put your email address in the contact form, and you'll get an email update when there is more information available. All right. Other than that, I want to talk about a game. Speaking of no players,
yes,
it's not often that we're right.
What are you talking about?
Okay,
it's not often that we're both right. How about that?
Okay. It is not often that we are right about most of the things that we talk about. Just based on the fact we've been doing this show now for 256 weeks, 57 weeks. It's hard to be right all the time. But I think we did kind of nail this one down, Brian. And I saw this week and I wasn't shocked. And it was a tweet from the Planetside Arena folks, and it said a message from the development team, and I knew exactly what that was. It says, "Hello everyone, after careful consideration, we have made the difficult decision to shut down Planetside Arena servers. While our team set out with an ambitious vision for the game that combined the massive scale combat and camaraderie of Planetside through the diverse collection of game modes, yada, yada, yada. As a result, Planetside Arena will be formally shut down on January 10th, 2020 at 5 p.m. Pacific. We're actively working with Steam to ensure that all players who made purchases during early access will automatically receive a full refund. So anybody that purchased anything is gonna get all their money back. Now, I don't think it was many people, but that's what they're doing. It says, thank you again for your loyalty and support during beta and early access. Your feedback was, whatever. They're going to continue to work on the Planetside universe. So, Brian.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I remember saying, I don't remember, like a month ago, why are they bothering? And this is pretty much it. I mean, there was no money. It's costing them money to keep it up. Nobody was interested. They did a horrible job marketing it. It didn't work. They delayed it a number of times. It didn't work well once it was released. It's just, it wasn't good.
So 4 months is going to be the lifespan. This game came out September 19th of 2019. It will be shutting down January 10th of 2020. So we're looking at a 4-month lifespan on this game. It's not a surprise. We looked at the numbers. This game's like all-time peak players was in the hundreds for peak players. It's not a surprise.
Well, and I put an image of the stats on there, the Steam stats.
Yeah.
And you can just kind of see
there was the
release.
Days. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. The release. Yeah.
But even if you look at the release at the bottom,
about 1,500 players.
Yeah. I mean, Well, no, it's like 5,000
Red
was like,
red is the people watching. Blue is
okay,
the
so
player numbers.
they had 5,000 people watching,
yeah,
right?
and about 1,500 people playing.
And then 1,500 people playing, and then it went down to practically zero.
Yeah, by
I mean,
October.
they had numbers jumping within that week. It was jumping between what, probably 2 people, and it looks like it hit zeros.
Yeah.
Up to 12s maybe was kind of the high average.
In about a month, from September to October, the game went from its 15,000 or 1,500 rather, not 15,000, from 1,500 to 200, and then just went downhill to that, to where there were the last 7 days the highest peak was 18 players.
Yeah.
So, unfortunate that it didn't work out. It seemed like a cool concept. It's unfortunate it didn't work out, but obviously this is well expected. And there's just no point of paying people to develop a game that tens of people are playing. There are more people watching this podcast right now than we had that were peak playing Planetside Arena over the last 7 days.
Yeah.
And this podcast does not have a crazy large listener base by any stretch of the imagination. They were building they had multiple staff members maintaining, developing, and working on this game.
Well, how do you feel this? I mean, what do you feel about Daybreak going forward? I mean, this is a big dud.
Yeah, which is fine. Duds happen. I mean, there's hundreds of duds all the time.
But they've had a lot of duds recently. The H1Z1 you don't hear anything about anymore.
True.
Of course, Just Survive is gone.
Well, this has been their only really. Has this been their only release since H1Z1? They canceled the EverQuest project.
No, well, they canceled EverQuest next or whatever it was.
Then that building game that they were supposed to release.
But they did release an original EverQuest DLC that came out here.
Okay, but no games. They never released any games.
Just the no actual games.
So yeah, since 2014, they've released one other game, and now I don't count King of the Kill splitting and redoing as a separate launch. So this has been their only game that they've released since H1Z1, and it shut down in 4 months. So, yeah. And again, our relationship with Daybreak has been rocky in the past. Take that for what it's worth. Are we biased? Yes. This is not a good sign for a studio. That the one single property you've released in 4 years is shutting down. In 5 years. It'll be Daybreak. H1Z1 will have been out 5 years next month. So in 5 years, the 2 games you released one of them has been shut down, and the other one is shutting down in less than 4 months after launch.
Yeah.
It's just not a good sign it's just not a good sign of a healthy company.
Well, it just so people know, with EverQuest, they release a DLC every year.
Yeah.
So they just released one this December. They released one last December. They've done 26 expansion packs for EverQuest.
Okay.
And it's probably been 26 years. I mean, I gotta think when they came out, it's probably just under. There must have been some in the beginning that kind of did a faster schedule on. But so I don't know how much money they're making on those, but that seems like that's really their only income at this point.
Well, and is EverQuest only available on Steam, or can you still play on its launcher?
I don't know if they're still doing. They used to have their own launcher, but I thought they cut that out.
Because if EverQuest is the only game making the money, the peak players over the last year was 832. I can't imagine that this is accurate. They've got to have another launcher.
Here's the issue, though. Okay, so the problem is people can play EverQuest on private servers, and a lot of people play them on private servers, which doesn't make them money. So the only way that they're making money and getting people to play on their network is when they release these expansions that don't exist on those private servers. And I'm sure that's why they do it, to get people to actually subscribe and play on the official servers. Because I mean, this game is a 20-something-year-old game. The technology is 20-something years old of this game, and they've been releasing a DLC every single year.
EverQuest 1 came out in. When did EverQuest 1 come out? Can you tell me? Don't look it up.
Yeah, probably about 1998.
March of 99.
Okay, 99.
Yeah, so the game will be over 20 years old next year.
Well, it's 20 years old now.
Yeah. But I'm saying it will be over. Yeah, true. Yes.
Yep.
Time can't be.
So I played it when it came out. I mean, in 2000, I played EverQuest.
Time can't be calculated in time. Did you remember that quote?
Yeah, I think isn't that what you said?
Yeah, I did. I said something like time can't be calculated.
Time can't be calculated in it was like, what?
It made sense in my head. So you're talking 20-year-old game. Okay. So
and this is one of their only things that they're still producing.
Well,
they're not making money off of other things.
Well, they might be. They've got the DC Universe, some of those DC Universe games, and they're keeping those servers up. So they've got to be making some money. I mean, if they're not being
so they have their all access now. So what that does is you pay $9.99 a month. If you pay that, you get 10% off of their unlimited marketplace purchases, right? Okay. They give you some Daybreak cash, but that lets you play Planetside 2 with
free,
with some extra things, right? The one that gives you bonus whatever, DC Universe Online, EverQuest, and EverQuest 2. Those are the 4 games you get for paying, and that's $9.99 if you pay for a year at a time. It's $15 a month,
which is more than
you pay a month at a time. It's the same as WoW.
Yeah, and WoW's a much superior game from what I can gather.
Well, yeah, I mean, much more modern. All of these games are very old feeling. I mean, Planetside 2 is probably their most modern feeling game they have.
I would disagree. H1Z1's far more modern feeling than Planetside.
But it's not on here.
Well, no, because it's already free. There's nothing to gain from that.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're not including any kind of a bonus.
Yeah,
true. I'm talking about what's under this
Daybreak
pass.
I got you. But what about the $500 worth of Daybreak cash you get to redeem every month?
Oh, the 500 gold whatevers. Yeah, I mean, you get those points so you can buy more skins. You get or abilities. You get access to all the spell ranks, which makes me mad that they lock things behind a paywall. You're playing a game and they're actually locking. It makes it a pay to win feature. One thing that is fine is they lock these different progression servers behind this. Fine. But they limit the guild functionality, which whatever, that's fine. But when they have it to where you're buying spell ranks and you're buying things that are actually abilities, that I don't like.
So they're making a couple $1,000s a month off of Daybreak All Access, and that's about floating them as a company.
Yeah. I mean, they're probably, I think they were betting on some of these other things working. I think they're probably right now trying to figure out how in the world they need to come up with another way to make money.
Well,
to stay in business.
Yeah, well, and there's not going to be, because they don't have any new products. They don't have any new games. They don't have any, from my gathering.
They supposedly were building something on Unreal. They were picking up developers, Unreal developers earlier this year. Well, actually, it was middle net last year.
Yeah.
Never seen anything about that project. Is it still going?
I'm sure it's not. How could it be?
I mean, unless they've got people dumping in money who seem to think that, but I think that their recent performances would make any investor say, all right, this is it. You know,
I just
run this at minimum people, have it float itself, keep the name, whatever, keep these IPs going.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, you can make a couple $1,000s a month off of this Daybreak All Access thing, and you can float having a staff and a payroll. That's it.
But you want to know what would have saved this company is releasing something like EverQuest Next.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, EverQuest Next, I think they tried to get too fancy with it, and they tried to turn it into kind of like a sandbox, an open world sandbox where you could build all these things.
What was the other
People
game?
don't want that.
Started with a P. Start with a P. It was the one where they showed the trailer was that the buildings, the roofs, the castles with the flags. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but that was part of EverQuest.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be a separate game, and then it became EverQuest Next, or vice versa. It was part of EverQuest Next. Yeah, but then they canceled it. And it was going to become its own game, and they canceled that too.
Well, because they canceled, but that was just testing the building pieces and everything. It was testing an aspect of the new.
But I thought that was supposed to be its own game that never came out.
Yeah, well, they after they canceled that they weren't going to release the new EverQuest, then they said, oh, but then there's this, and then they shut that down too.
Yeah.
But the thing is if they would have stuck to the EverQuest roots and released an actual MMO that felt like the EverQuest world, it didn't go silly with it, and they went a little bit too cartoony with it. The ones that I was seeing for the EverQuest Next.
Landmark.
Landmark. Yeah. So with that, I think they needed to release EverQuest, whatever, 4, don't they have a 3? I don't know.
No, I think it would have been 3.
So if they would have released EverQuest 3, this is the age where my age of people, right? That 40s, probably people in their 40s to mid to lower 30s would actually have some memories of playing this game, and they would buy an expansion. Instead, they made it cartoony, and they were trying to go for the newer generation and bring them into EverQuest. No, release a modern graphics looking version of EverQuest, and then when they're playing it, maybe their kids will join them, or younger people will join them and enjoy it, but make it for the people that are going to buy it. And they didn't do that.
Since 2012, Daybreak, these are the games that Daybreak has worked on. New games.
Yeah.
Planetside 2, which came out in 2012, that's still active.
Mm-hmm.
Just Survive, no longer active. Landmark, they never came out with. EverQuest Next, they canceled. Planetside Arena, that is also being canceled. So they have 2 active projects since 2012. So you'll be going on 8. It'll be 8 years here in a couple weeks, and in 8 years they have 2 active projects that are still up and running. And by the way, nobody's playing H1Z1. So 1, Planetside 2, which still has a decent player base. Now I understand EverQuest and DC, those other games. I'm sorry. Since 2012, the 6 products that they've had a hand in, 2 of them still exist. 1 of them has no play. Or 3. One of them is ceasing to exist in January. The other one has no players. The third one has got a decent following still. Planetside 2. One success in 8 years. And it was very popular. But one game that has survived it all in 8 years.
Okay, so
that just doesn't seem healthy.
Okay, I've got some player numbers. Well, so
whoa. What? You can't encroach on me. What the hell's what? Oh, hey guys.
Are you going to be giving DC Universe?
Hey guys, tip of the week. Here we go. Oh, I'm sorry, Brian. You don't want me stealing your topic? Okay, fine. Go ahead.
I was just going to say the average player count for DC Universe right now is 417 players.
Yeah, but I think that's available off of Steam as well, because EverQuest's numbers are very inaccurate as well, which I don't buy, because it's got I don't buy that.
Yeah, and so that's the only thing is I don't know with their launcher how they're doing that.
Nevertheless, we don't need to lament on it anymore. Planetside Arena shutting down January 10th. It's a Friday. Maybe we could do it for Game of the Week. So yeah, there you go. Not surprising. 4 months. It was DOA, and we were right. So it's unfortunate.
All right. Well, here's have you still have your GameStop stock?
I do. And actually, this is a great story, because you wrote this article, or Market Watch wrote this article. I'll tell you what, since I've never sat here on this program and said, take my advice to the bank. But if you would have taken my advice to the bank when I bought my GameStop stock a couple of months ago. Now I'm gonna pull this. Go ahead and read this story, and I'll get all my information gathered here.
All right. So it says GameStop Corp shares were slammed again on Wednesday as analysts waited another weak quarter that prompted one to invoke Jim Morrison to describe the continuing unraveling of the video game retailer. So this one guy says, "Journey we more into the nightmare, an American prayer." So that's they're just kind of saying that this is their 3rd quarter loss posted on Tuesday for GameStop, and they've declined another 0.3%.
Okay, so since I bought my stock in August, which I talked about on this program, my stock is up 60% since I bought it. As we sit here right now, my stock is up 60%.
Now, how did you do that?
What do you mean, how did I do that? The stock was $3 when I bought it. It's almost $6 now.
So you're going to tell people...
No.
Did you tell people then to buy?
I did it. $3. It would have been. It was a bargain. If you would have bought $100,000 worth of it at $3, you would have already doubled your money. My stock is up 61. I'm not saying GameStop is a good thing, but the stock since August is up 61%.
Which is crazy because their shares
but it was so
over
low.
2019 fell 56%.
Correct. I bought it the lowest of the low, and now you ride the train up. I'm all in on my GameStop.
You can hope that somebody hope that it goes back down to $3 and buy some more.
I don't need to buy more. I'm good. I bought a couple $100
I'm just saying
worth.
for anybody, that's the number. If it goes down to $3, buy some more GameStop.
I bought a couple $100 worth of GameStop, and I'll say this: I've got over $1,000 worth of GameStop now. I spent nowhere near that when I started. Well, you can do the math. I put about $400. I put about $400 in a GameStop, and now I got over $1,000. Which I'm riding or dying with that money. I'm not pulling it out. I'm riding this train I'm riding this train to either Bitcoin money or into the deep depths of hell. It's one or the other.
So, this is one thing though, is they are looking at kind of shrinking their store base.
Yeah,
and
makes sense.
As we had mentioned before,
there's 4 GameStops in Wilmington.
Yeah, going to more of a specialty type of, because that makes more sense now. People don't care about buying physical copies of games like they used to.
They need to turn it. You know what they need to do? They need to be like half GameStop, half Radio Shack.
Yeah,
it's not that the big money is there, but there are people that are always looking for things that I'm not saying have a parts cabinet, but the things that you used to be able to go into Radio Shack and buy. Radio Shack.
Or even the Arduinos and stuff like that.
Yeah, Best Buy does a little bit of that stuff, but outside of Best Buy, I'll give you a great example, Brian. I got myself a Christmas tree, which I talked about earlier on the program. I said, okay, I need another smart, another little smart plug that I can use with my Amazon and Google devices to turn the lights on and off. So I checked Best Buy, Walmart, and Target for the plugs. Target had one that was $45, and Best Buy and Walmart did not have anything in stock I could pick up. So I had to go on Amazon and buy one. Should have went to Lowe's. Yeah, I didn't think about Lowe's, but I guess I could have. But I'm sure it would have been $35 for a plug. Instead, I got one on Amazon for $10.
The thing is it's a lot of those things that you need on a whim, because Amazon. The thing that I've really noticed about Amazon, like for instance, I ordered fingernail clippers. Right back in the old days. Just as an example, one thing that really made me kind of notice the difference.
Were they good?
You would maybe go down to a corner shop and buy a set. And
the general store.
You go down to a Walgreens or something.
Yeah,
you get them there. They'll have like 3 different ones to pick from, and they'll be fairly basic. But you go down to you go on Amazon, and you're pretty much sorting from 100, maybe 50 different types. And you can get, and it's like the clippers that I have now have like a razor sharp edge. They're ridiculous, and you wouldn't be able to find those whatsoever anywhere in a store locally. But the quality level is so much higher that now, it makes sense. There is more of a reason to go to Amazon, because you actually can look at people's reviews, compare all these different ones. And you're not just stuck with the 3 different options that are there.
Yeah, and again, I'm not expecting GameStop to be able to compete with Amazon or Walmart online or anything like that. But I just think there is an interesting, and we're very isolated, Brian. We're in this small little niche of community. I really do think there is a place. Best Buy, I think Radio Shack went out of business right at the worst time. There was this lull between like electronics in the 80s and 90s and where we are now, which is like now everybody's a maker. Everybody's got people are buying $190 3D printers off eBay.
If they would have kind of transitioned to the 3D,
it was just too late. They couldn't have. It was just too late by that point. So I really do think there is a space for a store that can sell smart home things and maker things. As you said, Arduinos, Raspberry Pis. Are they going to make a fortune on it? No, but I'll tell you what. Every time you go into freaking GameStop, there's nobody in there anyway. The only time there's people, and they can still sell games. I'm not saying change your whole model, but do something to try to adapt. And they're going to do that. We saw the store in Tulsa, Oklahoma that got that redo. So hopefully they'll roll that out to some of these other stores. But I tell you what, man, I'm very happy with my GameStop purchase.
Yeah.
Sitting on cash, baby.
Well, we'll see.
Cash money, baby.
Hopefully they do something amazing and kind of turn it around.
I hope so. It'd be cool to have a place.
It would be sad to lose that kind of local place.
Yeah.
That has something where you can go and look and talk, look at the different controllers, look at different things. You don't want everything to be on Amazon.
No. And Walmart and Staples and Best Buy and Office Max can only stock so much.
Yeah, they usually don't have a very big variety.
No, and give Best Buy credit. They're the only ones that sell. You can buy you could go to Best Buy today and buy an unlocked processor, motherboards, RAM. You can buy gaming stuff at Best Buy, which you got to give them credit for because that's a recent change. But other than that, you're buying it online. Nobody else sells it.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, they have fries and things, but that's only in certain cities. Like we don't have one here.
Yeah, but some of the fries on the West Coast are shutting down.
Yeah. It used to be there were places you could drive to and pretty much build a whole computer. And it's really down to either maybe a small little local shop or which is usually way overpriced because they had to mark it up because they get so little traffic, or a Best Buy.
Mm-hmm. It's unfortunate. So, yeah, interesting. Well, thanks. Thanks, Jim Morrison.
So let's talk about Epic for a minute so we can get our big Epic money.
Yeah, of course. That's good stuff.
And if you're following this, they had asked Google if they would make them exempt from the 30% revenue cut on the Play Store because, when people buy the cash, the bucks, the V-Bucks.
V-Bucks. Oh yeah, it's all about the V-Bucks.
All whatever purchases they do inside of the store, which now they have their season pass and all that, but all those things, then Google gets a 30% cut of all of those.
Mm-hmm.
So they were asking for them to kind of make it to where there was that didn't apply to them. Google said no. And I think that this may be going to court, possibly, which would be interesting to see, because they're arguing that they feel like it's illegal for a company that owns an 88% share of a platform to be able to force them to do a 30% revenue cut. And because they pretty much lock it and force people to use their store.
Yeah.
For anything that's on the store, they force them to use their payment method.
How is that any different from Apple? Why aren't they suing? Why aren't they suing Apple? Apple's even worse.
I wonder if Apple gave them a discount.
Apple did. They're a bunch of morons. I mean, really, Epic with all the freaking money they make. Really gonna bitch about the 30% fee?
Well, in this, Sweeney's saying that for this, they're pushing it more as they would like to see an industry-wide change of making it to where companies are taking a smaller forced cut out of the stores. I mean, because 30%, that's a pretty big.
It is.
Any transaction that happens, Google gets a 30% cut.
Yeah, and they also host the store and provide the service.
But they also don't allow you to have any alternative.
Okay, yeah, well, it's their platform.
That's the argument, though.
Build your own mobile OS.
But it's an open source. It's an open source platform.
But it's not.
But they're locking. But it is.
But it's not.
They're locking it down, though.
Correct.
Then it's not. They're not treating. If it's open source, you should be able to install your own things without issues.
You can install your own app. You can install the Amazon App Store.
Yeah, but then they make it difficult. Amazon tried, and they don't really do that anymore.
Well, yeah, but they still. I mean, you can download an APK.
But it gives you errors. It gives you warnings. It scares your average person.
Yeah, of course.
Which I understand. There warnings that should be there.
Yeah,
but they've made it in a way to where it's not. There's not like a verified store. Same thing with Apple.
Apple's 10 times worse than Google.
Root it. Yeah, you have to root it to put it on there.
Yeah, I don't have any sympathy for Epic. You know what? If you don't want to pay the 30% free, take your game off the platform. Build your own freaking platform.
Well, this will be interesting to see.
It's not that. Okay, let's go back to what you just said. They didn't say, Google, let's negotiate on the fee. They said they want it waived completely. That is absolute bullshit.
Yeah, they wanted to be exempt. Yeah.
Zero. So Epic wants to pay $0 in fees to Google. Why? What makes them so special?
Yeah.
If they would have bargained with Google, they probably would have found an agreement. If they said, "Hey, Google, let's do 15%," they probably said, "Okay, fine." Why should they be exempt, but nobody else? That is such bullshit.
Epic has launched their own game store, their app store. So they call it the Epic Game Store.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that. I haven't tried. I don't know how that app works, but it'll be interesting to see if this actually spurs any other kinds of because most of your average person is not going to go and turn around and install an app.
You know, it'd be great.
App store.
You know, it'd be great if Brian, if you made a hit game using the Unreal Engine and then said, "Oh, you know what, Epic, why don't you just waive the fee that I'm supposed to pay you because I don't want to pay it."
You have such a high
I mean, that's literally essentially what they're saying. So, I mean, they're pulling the typical holier than thou. They charge developer, which I'm not bashing them for that, but they are getting pissed at Google for doing the same thing that they do to their developers, which is use our platform. Google does Brian, Epic and Google are doing the exact same thing.
Sorry, here's a note. It says they have not asked Apple to waive this
because they won't win. Apple's going to tell them no. Okay, here's the parallel. Google gives you a free OS to use on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
They make money.
Well,
they make money.
Don't have an option to switch it.
They give you a free OS to use on on the phone. They make money on their store. Epic gives you a free engine to build a game on. They make their money on the store. They make their money on the development. It is a parallel thing.
So, okay, so what if they start releasing a Android device?
They
right?
should.
Some sort of mobile device, and they could even put it on Android. Because it's open source, they have the ability to do this. That then doesn't come pre-installed with the Play Store. That comes installed with their own.
I think that's a great solution. That's what they should do. Instead of acting like they're supposed, they're so special that they deserve to get this fee waived. How many billions of dollars did these guys make last year?
Not a lot.
I mean, it's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous.
It
makes them look very scummy, incredibly scummy, and they're going to lose. Yeah. They're not going to win.
Well, the thing is all these are locked down on the Play Store, but you're not forced to that. It's just that's the easiest route. So all of these places that release phones lock it down with the Play Store because that's where all the apps are.
I just love that they're going to say they're not going to bring it up to app. They're not going to try to get the fee waived on Apple devices.
Well,
they know Apple will tell them
done it yet, but they know that
Apple will say, you know what? Actually, we'll just kick you off our App Store anyway. So yeah, I have no sympathy for that. That's ridiculous. The hell with them.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. Waive our fee.
Well, they wanted a special billing exception
to
circumvent the 30%.
But why? Does it say? Is there a reason why? Are they a nonprofit? Are they a 501c3? Are they a charity? They're a for-profit enterprise.
And he wanted to get, he's trying to make a statement with it, is what he's claiming.
Well, he's making himself look like an asshole is what he's doing. I mean, this is ridiculous.
And then he made the statement that the company undercut the Play Store's revenue model by giving the developers 80% of the revenue generated by their apps, which is what they said they did on theirs.
Oh my God.
So they think that it should be they said that it's a. Oh, here we go. We believe that this form of tying a mandatory payment service to a 30% fee is illegal in the case of a distribution platform with over 50% market share. That's their argument.
Yeah, but they never asked Google why. That's why they're suing them. But they never gave a reason to why they asked for the exemption in the first place.
But then there's a note that Google Play's developer distribution agreement does not require developers use Google Payments. It's merely a references a number of non-contractual documents asking developers to do so. So they don't even have to use. They could use their own payment system inside of the app. So I don't even know what the point is. Being somebody that is very capitalist-minded, I'm not making a political statement. This is infuriating to me because Epic has no grounds for asking for Brian, if a charity was like, hey, would you waive this 30% fee on donations that we take through our app? I'm sure Google would say, actually, maybe we will. Or maybe we'll do 5%. Yeah. But Epic freaking Games, Epic Games. Who's had a lot of issues with their payment system. I mean, with all the different fees of
Epic Games made $3 billion in 2018. They made $3 billion in the year 2000. That's profit. That's not what they made. That is profit. $3 billion in profit. And they're really going to bitch about a 30% fee on Android to Google. That is asinine.
Well, I think that they will struggle to win any kind of
I hope
legal
Google
case
kicks them off the store. That's what I would do
when it doesn't require them to even. You don't have to use their payment system.
I wish Google
They
would
just
ban
want.
That's how you deal with this stuff. Say, you know what? If you guys are just gonna be such smarmy a-holes, ban, gone, get off our store.
But that would not help them in the legal case.
They can come up with whatever reason to kick them off the store. Oh, it doesn't fit terms of service. Okay, goodbye. I mean, this is that's ridiculous. That pisses me off.
Yeah,
that really pisses me off. Okay, thank you, Brian, for upsetting me. I appreciate that. Right. Speaking of things that don't piss me off, Brian, things I like very much. Christmas, as you can see by my festive lights behind me and my festive Christmas tree. It's sitting right back here.
Yes.
And my vanilla candle, which is, the highlight of the show.
Christmas.
Which is Christmas. Yeah, absolutely. We've got now the 4th year running, the Ark, Winter Wonderland update. Yes. It's live now. It went live today. It's live on our Infection Podcast server. And it's also live on all other public servers and private servers if they turn that on around the game. So let's watch this quick video for the Winter Wonderland year number 4 from our friends over at Ark. Cool trailer. Always like the Winter Wonderland and Ark. They've always done a really good job with holiday events. Christmas is, I think, number 1. Thanksgiving's always a cool event. They have that turkey that you can't kill that follows you around the map, persists on death. That's kind of a real pain. What do you think about this, Brian? Are you excited for the holiday event?
So I love Ark. One thing I'm always surprised about is that their trailers give me no feeling of what the game actually feels like whatsoever.
No, it doesn't.
Like, it's just they make these trailers and it's like all that's okay. Most of that stuff is kind of in game, but it's not quite. Like they just put all these things in there. It's like that you can't. When that one dinosaur, roars or whatever, which I don't remember, it roars. That doesn't have spit flying out of its mouth. Just all these things. That just kind of always drives me crazy why they do that. But I'm looking forward to it. It's always fun, not just so much for the Christmas. I do have very fond memories of our Thanksgiving, our original Thanksgiving Ark.
Absolutely.
But it's just a game where when you kind of get into it as a group and you just put some time in there, it's a lot of fun. We'll see. I've got some Christmas stuff. We tried to do some of the various Christmas events and maybe we'll try them again this year. I'm less into the event itself and just, I enjoy Ark and the variety of having an event once in a while kind of helps. Getting some of the skins and things like that's kind of fun because you get to use them later. But yeah, I don't know. It's just Ark is a very well made game that you can play in spurts. I don't recommend playing it all the time.
And because you mentioned it, I just have to show the Ark fan remake trailer, which comes around this time of year always.
There you go. Yeah, that's pretty much it. My character is
Oh,
the
look at this!
opposite.
It recommended us as the next thing to watch.
Nice, perfect.
Hey, Brian, what's going on? Oh, it's recommended.
Nice
Feedback.
So my character right now is the opposite. I made the smallest body possible, the biggest head possible.
And that actually affected you in game. You were unable to climb up a ladder in my house due to your short stature.
Yeah, that was a problem.
Yeah. So Arc Winter Event is live and in effect. Check it out. We're going to be playing it throughout the week, but our Friday night game of the week, it'll probably be our final one of the year if I had to guess, until we kick it back off in early January. So hopefully they'll join us for that. If you're looking for the server, it's up 24/7, and the name is search for Infection Podcast, or there's a link in our Discord server, which you can find at infectionpodcast.com. All right. What else we got here?
Do we want to do at least announce the game giveaway?
Absolutely.
Kind of get that going.
What do we got here?
All right. Well, if you want to do exclamation point giveaway in chat, this will be a 60 point. So if you've been watching for the past hour, you should be able to do this. I'm going to be giving away a copy of Bastion, and this is thanks to one of our, I guess, viewers, listeners, Riot Punk. He donated some games this past week.
Heyo.
This was one of them. So Bastion, and I'll put a link to it in the Steam for this. It has very positive recent reviews, overwhelmingly positive. That's over almost 22,000 reviews, and it's overwhelmingly positive with those.
Very cool.
So the art style is very good. This is a great sound. The description is great soundtrack, indie action narration RPG. It's single player game, but it is a very well made. Looks very nice. So I'd encourage you, if you don't have this game, exclamation point giveaway, and we'll give away before the end of the show.
Absolutely. And if you're not joining us live, well, you're missing out. We'll be here live. Well, not live. We'll be next week at 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on our Twitch channel. We restream on Mixer and YouTube as well. Infectionpodcast.com links where you can find all the information for that. And then are we gonna do a show on? I guess we'll do a show. We doing a show on New Year's Eve? I guess we didn't talk about that.
We'll figure that out. We'll talk about it.
Maybe we'll
this
do
week.
a Monday show. Who knows? Yeah, so stay tuned for that. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at InfectionCast for any updates on that.
Very good. All right. So let's talk about PUBG for a little bit here. They put out their test, which generally is pretty close to what goes to live. One thing they've done in this one, this is their 5.3. So it's pretty much PC update 5.3, which I think they'll just then roll into live when it's ready. They improved some of the blood effects, which I don't think has any impact on China because they don't allow blood there. But here in the United States, you actually will see a different effect for blood.
America.
They reduced the maximum number of uses per vending machine from 15 to 10. So those will be used less in the game. And they increased the overall number of spike traps that can be spawned. They've implemented some changes with the cloud saving. So you can go and adjust the settings inside of the settings page for cloud saving. They've been adjusting the weapon mastery, so you can now choose your favorite weapon in the mastery tab. And they've redone some of the UI for that. They've been working on the UI for the lobby and the weapon HUD. They've also been adjusting the custom matches for this one. And one thing you may want to take note of is the current season pass, or the survivor pass as they call it, and the survival title system ends on January 14th. So they're going to be doing a new one on, so starting January 1st, there will be a countdown that you'll see in the lobby as far as the end date coming up on that. And then they'll have the new one start. So when that one finishes, they've been adjusting the percentages of crates. So right now, the Wanderer crate is a 16% chance, the Survivor 16. Most of them are 16. There's the Fall 2018 crate's a 17% chance, and the Venetian crate is a 3% chance.
Gambling.
And then after that, a bunch of and then after that's a bunch of fixes that they've done. So
I do want to
more recent updates.
I do want to oops. I do want to point this out. They do show in the HUD here that it blinks now when you're regenerating health, so the health plus sign will pulsate. They've changed the UI pretty drastically in this game. They've done a lot of the end game things that a lot of the games we talk about never get to, is what PUBG is doing right now.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah. And that's there are probably a lot of improvements. I mean, I don't really feel like playing it still.
Neither do I.
Talked about that. But they are making constant improvements, and I just wish they would have made it kind of like a platform to play on. I understand that it's kind of changed. It's gone to PUBG, and they're doing their own thing and running with it. It's not really the same company as it originally was. But they're just continuing to make it the best they can, and we'll see what Brandon does with his future things on this.
While we're talking about holidays, we got a holiday update from our friends over at Astroneer. Now I don't remember following them last year to a point where I remember what their holiday update was or wasn't. So this update is available on all of the platforms. They had a couple of things here. They had a frosty visor, a frosty palette, a frosty mask, and a holiday top hat reward. And they got this picture of this astronaut. And the visor is, the front of the visor is a snowman's head with the coal eyes and the carrot nose, which is pretty cool. So they're jumping in on that. They talk about the recipes for some of that stuff, some of the optimization things that they've done. They've actually got a vlog here.
Yeah, but
is it long?
It's not really about gameplay. It's them kind of just messing around.
Gotcha. Okay.
With some stuff. So I don't know. It's 13 minutes.
Yeah, we'll pass on that. So yeah, they've done some performance things, optimized texture compression settings to significantly reduce memory usage. That's always a big thing. Fixed a bug in the research system, which caused it to severely degrade performance if the research module was active in multiplayer games. So that would slow down your whole server, your locally hosted server. Fixed a bug involving tethers that cause performance to degrade from clients in multiplayer games, and various stability fixes. So kind of just a QOL update as well as the holiday things. And they do note that they are System Error Software is doing they've got an Extra Life team going on right now. So there's a link in the show notes for that as well. And they're going to donate $5,000 to the campaign. So that's their goal they've got some goals set that they'll donate money to the Extra Life campaign. So if you want to go and throw them a few bucks and chip in, Extra Life is a fantastic charity. They do a whole bunch of stuff with children's Miracle Network hospitals across the country. And they've got gaming in mind. It's a good group of people over there. So very good. Check out Astroneer. Get your holiday visor, which is pretty cool.
Well, let's talk a little bit about Fortnite, because they had this event. They've actually we talked about it last week, but doing that Star Wars trailer.
I can't show it.
Well, you can't show the trailer itself.
I can't. So I was reading, I looked this up. Disney is copyright claiming all these videos that are showing this stuff happening. So
what about prior to the video being shown?
I can show that. I'll start playing.
So show the very beginning of this trailer, because you can see kind of the event, how they started it. Then it turns to talking, which we don't need to hear. But I mean, I'm sure you could play some of the sounds. Before all this. I was saying before all this started.
Okay.
They have a kind of a scene that plays out.
This scene? Oh,
yes.
Okay.
So they have where the Millennial Falcon is being chased by TIE fighters, and there's a big battle that everybody's kind of watching.
Oh.
So this goes on for a few minutes. Then the Millennial Falcon kind of lands in the center, and then this starts out.
Oh, it pushes them all off. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it lands, and then the announcers come out and they interview the producer and all that. So.
And it was cool. I'll just scrub through part of the trailer, part of it here. They literally show, like they literally showed like the whole trailer. Like it's a big old movie screen.
Inside of the.
Yeah. So if you want to check that out, they also released another trailer, which I don't want to show either because I'm afraid they're going to copyright claim that. For the actual,
but that was like an in-game, or that's the actual Fortnite trailer.
Yeah, it
I
is.
don't know. With the music, it's hard to say.
It is. So I don't want to show either of those just because Disney's apparently copyright hungry, like Nintendo is with some of this stuff. So overall, I was reading about it. I didn't see any positive news about the Star Wars event on the technical side, which to me means it worked flawlessly, right? You only have a story when like, oh, all the servers crashed 30 seconds before the thing was supposed to start. I didn't see anybody talking about network connectivity issues or anything like that. So from all I can gather, the event went off relatively flawlessly, at least on the front facing end of it. And that's why there's no news.
Yep. Well, let's talk a little bit about some of the updates that they put out here this past week. For their 11.30. One thing they did is they introduced for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One split screen for duos and squads.
That's going to be
so
tough.
You can, I mean, imagine playing on that small screen, but you can play with friends and do the split screen. This is an early release of it, so they're going to be continuing to improve it as they go. And also, they have preview what's in the mobile or in the item shop using your mobile device. So now you can go on your mobile device and preview items. Now, do you think, kind of tying this a little bit to our earlier discussion, do you think that they're going to come up with more of a overall shop that isn't you're buying items that carry over to the mobile for your account in general, regardless of whether it's mobile? I'm saying, so you'll push people to purchase it somewhere else, not on the mobile platform.
Yeah, maybe you purchase it on the website.
That's what I'm saying. I think that they're going to start pushing to where it's so interchangeable that they don't make you buy it in game.
The problem you're going to run into that
receive it in game.
The problem, in my opinion, the problem that you run into that is that so Xbox and PlayStation both have console companion apps. I don't know if you've ever used any of them. I've got them both installed on my phone. They suck. You have to think about using them. They're this like weird stepchild kind of thing. They just, you're breaking out of the atmosphere of what you're doing. And that's going to be the problem with this. Nobody is going to go, oh, I'm sitting on my phone, it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to play a couple games of Fortnite on my phone before I go to bed. And, I want to buy this skin, but I got to turn on, I got to go find a laptop around my house to buy this. The whole reason that the whole phone ecosystem works with microtransactions is because you can just click and buy. Like Brian, if you download like TuneIn, it's a great example. If you want TuneIn Premium, which is like $10 a month, you literally would open the TuneIn app, click Get Premium, and in my case, I would touch my thumb to my phone, and instantly I would have the subscription active. That's why it's so convenient. But if I had to open up iTunes on my computer and log into my iTunes account, which of course I wouldn't know the password for, then I'd buy the subscription. It'd just be a huge pain in the ass. So I think that's what they want to do, but that defeats the entire purpose of microtransactions.
But imagine if in the game you click a link and it takes you to the web browser with that.
But it's going to be the same thing. You're going to have to sign back into your Epic account. You're not going to know your password. It's just, I've been through this. I just had to do this for Halo. I had to sign into my Microsoft account to log into Halo. I didn't know what my freaking Microsoft account was. I signed into my Microsoft account 6 years ago on my Xbox. I have not signed into it since. I had no idea what my password was.
Well, and part of doing that process, they would lose a lot of the possible security because then you get all these people with the fake links and everything that take you, and you get in the habit of entering your account information on a web page. That opens up a whole nother set of downfalls where just doing it in the app and having it to where it's you don't have to ask for the credit card, but it's already saved. You can even put a limit on the amount that they can purchase per month. You can give them a sort of monthly spending limit. There are benefits to it, so I think they're going to have a hard time really, as you said, circumventing that and coming up with something
just pay it
different. Yep. So, yeah, pretty much they did their in this update. They implemented the stuff for that live showing that was on December 14th. One thing they did is you can now choose to when the transition from the eliminated by screen to the end of match XP screen. So you can choose when that happens. So to transition to the end of match screen, press continue. It says to transition to the end of match XP screen, press continue on the eliminated by screen. So you can do that now. And I think that's pretty much, they changed an ammo indicator and then some bug fixes. That's pretty much all the changes.
Yeah, big. That was a big event this weekend that they did.
Yeah.
I mean, they had it was a hologram of J.J. Abrams or something like that.
Well, it was just characters, pretty much a character up there moving around.
Gotcha. Okay.
And then him talking, and it was like the character was talking and dancing, and
it's cool.
He was pretty much talking into a mic.
It's cool what they're doing. It's very cool.
Yep. So anyway, so that is our Fortnite news.
Yeah. Now, but there is a couple of videos, as we said. If you want to watch them, they're on our website, infectionpodcast.com.
They'll be in the show notes, and I have a note on there. The trailer for that video, actual trailer starts at 8 minutes and 30 seconds.
That is the most Old Man Aldrich thing ever. Why didn't you time code it on YouTube?
I was just making it so that we could read that during the show, so you would know where to jump if you were going to watch it.
Yeah, but what if you time coded the link?
Because I wanted you to show the beginning.
Okay.
And so then if I say, hey, jump to the trailer part, then you could just jump to 8 minutes 30 seconds.
Okay, fine. I'm just saying that seems like a very Old Man Aldrich thing.
I'd have to put two links in there for you to do that.
Okay, I appreciate you thinking of me.
Mm-hmm. All right, so let's talk about Apex Legends a little bit.
By the way, they were nominated for best. They didn't win it. They were nominated for best community. I don't remember what this category was. It was developers that are doing things that the community really likes that they're doing. Like they're in touch with their community. They were nominated as well as Destiny and a couple of other games. So that tells you something.
Nice. So on here, they're calling this the Mirage Holiday Bash. Of course, it's Christmas to us. Thank you. But they have a video. I don't know if you want to play that really quick.
Yeah. What do we got here? Is it just a trailer for?
It's a trailer for their new holiday event.
All right, let's take a look at this trailer from Apex Legends.
Check this out. Oh man. Fire in the hole. You'll warm up in the respawn chamber.
I'm quicker than you think.
I enjoy the winter months.
Time to hibernate for the winter.
Opening fire.
You know you missed me.
You're a bit too slow, my brother.
That's a cool skin.
Let's ride the train. Oak train.
Let's do this.
Enemy down. Target spotted. Woohoo! We are awesome. Watson, get in here with me. Let's take an Elfie. No, why are you looking at me that way?
Brian, I'll tell you this.
Yes.
Good trailer. We chatted earlier about Ark and how their trailer was very unrealistic of the game. Besides the pre-scripted screen stuff, the gunfights in Apex, and it just because we were talking about it earlier, it was fresh in my mind. The gun battles in Apex that they show in the trailers are very realistic. Those gunfights where you and your squad are running, they show one at the end and some guy pops through like a door and it's like your whole squad is like sitting with their pants down kind of thing. That has happened to me 1,000 times in Apex. The people jumping around the train. That game always. That trailer is very accurate of what the actual gameplay is like, in my experience. The kind of like, Halo jumping around things that's typical in Apex.
Well, and that's one thing they always do well is showing the actual feeling of the game, and that's what was kind of my point with the Ark part of it. Is that's not at all. Every trailer they make is not at all, and they did the same thing with Atlas. Is not at all what the game feels like. With Apex, they always put in a mixture of gameplay to kind of show you, hey, here's the pace of the game. Here's what it feels like if you haven't played it. And then they'll mix in some kind of fun, just stuff to kind of get you comfortable and introduced to the characters' personalities. Because that's a big part of this game, is having characters with various personalities, and their abilities are different, to where you learn them, similar to how Overwatch works.
Yeah. This scene right here, you've got like a guy coming through a house, guys coming down the zip line. Like, I've been in this situation many a times playing Apex, and I'm no Apex like expert. I don't have hundreds of hours, but this scene has unraveled a couple of times for me. I'm sure it has for you as well, which is cool. This has got me wanting to play Apex, because I know, like, what I saw is interesting.
Yeah, and they're doing events, so you have an opportunity.
Do you have to pay for these, or is it free? How does that stuff work?
So on here, they have challenges that you can do. So the exclusive event challenges with free earnable cosmetics. So it includes 2 legendary weapon skins.
Nice.
Then they have these event skins. So you'll get some things from completing certain challenges. So for instance, your first login during an event, you get a music pack, a Christmas music pack. If you capture the Winter Express 3 times, you get a badge. 15 times tier 2 of that badge, 75 times tier 3. Get top 10 and 5 items, or 5 times, you get the holiday loading screen. If you get a kill with 6 different characters in Winter Express, you get a gun charm. Deal 20,000 damage, you get a weapon skin. And then press the party button on the Mirage Voyage, you get another weapon skin. So just for example, there are things that you can get that are part of the holiday event that aren't paid for things. And then they also have it to where you can use the Apex coins or crafting materials, or you can use direct purchases.
There's a limited,
pretty much, which is the equivalent of the coins in the.
There's a limited time mode as well called Winter Express. It's a non-battle royale point capture, so a CTF or a control point or one of those equivalent game modes, featuring 3 teams of 3. That sounds fun. You know what? That kind of sounds like Overwatch, kind of like like a quick Overwatch thing. 3 teams of 3, super quick, not battle royale. We should try that. That sounds like fun. We should do that this week. If anybody wants to play, I'll get Apex updated. I'll be around the next couple days.
I'll make sure it's all loaded.
That sounds like it'd be a lot of fun.
And I think it's one of those games that they've continued to improve. And what the thing is when they get more characters and they get more abilities, and you really feel like it's a different, unique experience, I think it adds to that type of a game. So
I think Apex has by far suffered the worst from BR burnout. I would say outside of PUBG, Apex is the best battle royale that's on the market. It's the one I've had the most fun in. It's the one that I've enjoyed the most. It's the one that I still see people playing to this day. And ROE's got some success. I think Apex is...
If they would have released it at a different time, it would have been huge.
It could be PUBG.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit too late to the game. Because of BR burnout. There is no singular reason that I stopped playing Apex, except I just did not enjoy it. I just was kind of BR burnout. We were sick of Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Apex is
but the thing is, if they could
game.
come up, if they could mixture it and have different game modes and come up to where, similar to what COD does, make it to where it's not every time feeling like a BR.
Yeah, there's like this limited time mode.
Yeah, get some death matches mixed in there and have it to where people are willing to play it, because they don't have to do the same shrinking, circle type of event.
I may have spent more time playing Apex than I did PUBG. If not, it's close. Maybe. It's definitely number 2 if it's not 1.
Yeah.
I haven't played any other BRs as much as Apex or PUBG. Even H1Z.
And I enjoyed Apex.
Yeah, so did I.
There was nothing about the experience where I was like, oh, this just is, it's broken. That didn't happen. We never complained about hackers. Like, that stuff didn't happen, and there was no reason that we didn't play other than we didn't feel like playing that kind of game anymore.
It's unfortunate, really is.
Yeah,
they're really negatively, having to deal with the repercussions of BR burnout. It's very unfortunate.
Yeah. But we'll try it out.
Yeah,
see how we feel after we play it. And Josh, he says Apex is the only BR I actually liked.
I'd agree with that. So, I'm trying to think. I do not like.
Who makes Xera?
Yes, Josh from Xera. I don't like PUBG. I even from day one, I never really liked PUBG.
I liked it. I liked it in the very beginning, but then we had various things happening that just really burnt me out on it.
H1Z1's Battle Royale, when it first came out, when they were one game, was fun. We used to play it to get those tickets. That was fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Josh completely. It's probably the only BR game I've truly enjoyed. That's not true. I do like Fortnite's fun. I just am not good and don't really play it. Fortnite's a good game.
Yeah.
Though I know triggered, but I like Fortnite. It's
the
fun.
build. I just can't do the building.
Old man Audrey. Oh, the arthritis is cramping my hands.
It's just I have to use a different mouse to do it, and I have an MMO mouse, and it's not worth my time to learn. So, all the different button presses.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Triggered.
Anyways.
So yeah, check that out. I'm gonna give that a try this week.
Okay. So another game that we have talked about over the years, the Darwin Project. They have their full release trailer. So if you want to play that really quick, this is a game that was our very first PAX. We were one of the first people to interview them.
Yeah, hold on.
And
lost this trailer. This is the first trailer I downloaded and I can't find it.
Nice. But this is them announcing that it's going to be released on all platforms, and this is one of those also that a very fun game, but it's also cursed by the BR burnout, and they've really struggled to kind of overcome that. People just don't like, they say, okay, this is very much like Fortnite. I'll just go play Fortnite.
Absolutely. Let's take a look.
Yep.
Oh, hello there. It's nice to see you again. You're looking pretty well. All things considered, that is. Oh, me? I've just been minding everyone's business in the arena here. Oh, fighting. What? They're really trying to kill each other. That's crazy. Don't you just want to get involved? What do you say we pour in a little bit of the old democracy? I love my job.
All right, that is Darwin Prooject. Is it a fair assessment to say that the Darwin Prooject may have just been a little too ahead of its time in terms of what it was really trying to accomplish? You're muted.
That's weird. All right, sorry about
Well, it's not weird. You clicked mute. You forgot to click it.
I forgot. I was trying to be kind with the video and not have breathe into the mic. And,
Hi, Brian.
Anyways, this is one where this game counts on having streamers and people that have a community play it and interact, which I still think is a very viable thing to do. I think that this is the future of what you could do on Twitch. I think this is what's going to kind of set apart some of these maybe streaming platforms in the future, is having more interactivity.
Well,
and I think that they came up with a platform that does it very well, but the streamers are too caught up on the games that make them the most money, not what's the most fun for their audience.
Outside of text to speech, streaming really is obviously the chat. It really is just kind of like a one-way conversation still. But a game like Darwin Prooject really, to me, seems to strive to make that more of a much more interactive experience than just
allow people to vote on things that are happening in a live game.
The Video Game Awards did that and has done that the past couple of years. They had a live poll on Twitch throughout the thing where you could, they would announce the category and a poll would pop up on the screen. It would say, who do you think is going to win this? That's kind of bridging this gap, but this game is totally.
They did that. They did that in the Fortnite thing too. If you watch that whole thing with the Star Wars reveal, they had, before they showed the video, they had 3 markers that showed up and they did a live vote. They said, everybody run to the marker that you think of what is going to be in this upcoming video. and across all like however many millions of people, it was showing a thing tallying the votes in real time.
That's pretty cool.
And there was somewhere else that I saw this as well, where there was something that was being voted on in game live. I think that is going to become more of a thing. This is, if you've got a huge audience while you're streaming, and they can just click, the ability. Twitch has this ability.
Oh yeah.
And this is this is a game where they've used it. They have a thing inside of Twitch where you can click. People that are watching can click and vote. I want to nuke, this player. They kind of showed it in the trailer, but very few games are actually taking advantage of this. These guys are taking full advantage of it.
Yeah.
So I think they are a little bit ahead of their time, to where this will, I think, become the standard. I think these guys saw it and made a game that does it, but I don't think people are there yet. I don't think streamers are there yet. Like, imagine a streamer that really has a big audience and then uses this kind of thing to. The problem is, I think that you will possibly start seeing Fortnite do something like this. I think you'll start seeing an ability for things like this to happen somehow, and then it'll become the standard.
It's unfortunate. This game's got 74 people playing right now. The 24-hour peak's 190, and the 7-day peak is 216.
The graphics are good. The movements are good. It's got a lot of interesting mechanics. It's just people aren't picking it up, because I think it relies on streamers picking it up.
Yeah, it does, and
and they're not offering people money to play.
Yeah, because they don't have it.
Yeah. So.
I think Darwin Prooject's super cool. So that's a full release, or what they're calling it, full release, and it's going to be coming out to Xbox and PlayStation as well.
Yeah.
So that's part of that full release, which is
I wonder if maybe you'll see people streaming it on Xbox to Twitch or PlayStation. If at that point you may see some people starting to do this.
It seems like more of a console game.
Yeah, I think that maybe you'll see people that are streamers on console that are like, hey, I can do this. Because the PC market and the top streamers here, it's like a formula. They only play certain games, and they all alternate through those games because they know what game people are going to watch and make them the most money.
Yeah. So Darwin Prooject expected out early next year fully. Let's talk about a game that our buddy UGX Vibe posted today. It's called ANAREA, is I think the name of the game, or ANAREA might be the name of it. It's a new battle royale game. We're gonna show the trailer, and then we'll talk about it. And I am interested, so let's take a look at this. And by the way, work in progress, as they know.
Pre-orders available now on the official ANAREA website.
ANAREA.
So it's a new BR game that appears to be a complete asset flip. Josh points out in the chat that it does sound like they ripped off the H1Z1 AR sound. It appears to be a complete asset flip, and the starting edition pack is
I didn't see anything that so the thing is I didn't see anything that wasn't from the asset store.
correct, and it starts at $15.
Yeah.
What would your over under be on this game being a success?
Wow. I mean, I don't think it is going to be a success because, first of all, you have to show something beyond the asset store of what makes your game different. I don't mind assets being in a game. It's what you do with them, right? You have to go beyond that and then show, okay, well, movements is going to be the thing that improves this, or the way that the gunfights work. The camera stuff was kind of crazy for me. Like I was looking at various camera effects that would drive me crazy playing the game. If I can understand it takes a big budget to hire and make a bunch of graphics, or it takes a lot of time, a lot of people. That's one thing. But the things that you can as a programmer do is the stuff with the cameras and do all how everything else works. Some of the stuff looks good, but I didn't see anything that really stood out to me other than it works, right? I mean, it looks like it works, but they're only showing you fighting with one other person.
Yeah.
That doesn't show you anything for performance. So I'd be interested to see what happens there.
So yeah,
that camera effect is just,
so it's a third-person BR. It starts at $15. They sell an $80 pack, and it comes out in March. And that definitely is the H1Z1 AR sound. There's no mistaking it.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. I don't see it going anywhere just because I don't see it.
Could you imagine anybody buying this?
Oh, someone will buy it.
Like, even look at this front picture. Like, this looks like a screenshot from that survival game pack that is sold on the Unreal store.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? I mean, this literally looks like that's what it looks like. This looks like cookie cutter survival game with a city.
Probably some of those buildings are from that, though.
This screenshot might as well be from that pack. I have no idea.
Yeah, I just didn't see anything. Like, I don't mind there being assets, but I just didn't see anything in there that was like, oh, well, they did this really well. Like, it just looks like they put it together and now they're selling it, and it's got to be more than that.
Yeah, one would hope. The video has got about 9,000 views on YouTube. It's got pretty positive upvotes. A lot of people say, can't wait to play this game.
They say that, but will they? That's what it comes down to.
If this is the answer to the H1Z1 nostalgia, then I can't wait. But if you have to pay for the game, then I'm not getting it.
That didn't feel like H1Z1 though to me. Like, the sounds were there, but the movements weren't there.
All the H1 players
visual
are going to play this game. The game will be such a try-hard to trap. Nobody's going to pay $15 for this game. Control-C, Control-V, the H1Z1 AR sound. Goddamn, I'm hyped AF. Looks like early H1Z1. Looking forward to it. Can't wait. Holy F. You guys did it. I'm going effing crazy. Great work. The game looks great. What are these people watching?
Like,
this is insane. These have to be PHs. These have got to be fake comments. Who in their right mind watched this and was like, "Holy shit, this is good. This is what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for a another $15 BR."
And that's the thing is, watching that, I didn't even get a vibe of, oh, this is like H1Z1. Like, this gives me that the gunplay was not there. They did. Can you go back to it where she kind of speeds up for a second?
Yeah, hold on. I know what you're talking about.
There was that's the kind of H1Z1. It's after this when she's going into the town.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, right there. So that's kind of the H1Z1. Like, H1Z1, you ran a little bit faster at times than you probably should have.
Yep.
Right. I think that's the H1Z1 feel that they're talking about.
It is very fast. It looks to be very fast paced.
They seem to have tried to mimic the movement, like, speeds of H1Z1.
You know what I find so crazy though is and this is just typical internet, just stupidness. H1Z1, King of the Kill rather, is available to play now. It's free, totally free, right? I mean, there's no cost.
This isn't just Survive. That's the thing. Is they're saying, oh, finally H1Z1. You can play H1Z1. Go play Just Survive. You should be saying, oh, this is Just Survive that we wanted.
Yeah, is it not called King of the Kill anymore? What is it called? I can't find it.
I think it's on console. It's like,
yeah, but what is I'm trying to find H1Z1 on Steam DB. What is the game even called? It's not called King of the Kill. Didn't they change the name of it again?
Z1 Battle Royale.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
You
Sorry.
Remember.
Okay, so Z1 Battle Royale, a free-to-play game. Now, mind you, all the comments on YouTube talking about how all the H1 players are going to come and play this. Z1 Battle Royale has 184 people playing right now.
Yeah. And
that's
the game that they're mimicking.
And it's free. So imagine 200 players on a free game. How many of those 200... Okay, let's say they've got 1,000 active players on H1Z1. How many of those active players are going to spend $15 for this new game? Even if
when they add the truck and the motorcycle car,
even if it's
the cop car,
even if it's 30%, which is stupidly high, that is still no players.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, am I off base? Am I out of the loop? Am I disconnected or am I missing something?
People say they want to, but there's not going to be a game that is like the original H1Z1 BR. That was a game of its time. People say they want to play that, but they're going to go in there and they'll be like, this is stupid, and they'll never play it again.
So hyped. Been waiting a long time for this. Oh my God, this looks amazing. I'm so hyped. So H1Z1 question mark. This game has the same sounds and recoil as everything. Looking forward to this. Can't wait. H1Z1 with a different name. Can't wait. And no thanks.
Do they think they're not going to get sued?
Well, I don't know about that. Tomorrow I will pre-order this game.
Ripping audio from another game.
Why is the camera shaking? Game will be dead on arrival. Earthquake Simulator. That's actually pretty funny. Oh my God, I can't wait. Ha ha ha. Can't wait to play this. Really hope this doesn't flop. Can't wait. Hyped. Try hard. I mean, what am I missing? The video was freaking a minute and 20 seconds.
Yeah.
They must have a Discord. I'm going to join their Discord. See what's going on.
I'm sure that
I must be missing something.
Be a healthy conversation.
Yeah, of course. Hi, I'm Nick Craig with Infection Podcast. I've got a couple questions.
DH1Z1 Podcast.
Yeah. Hi, Nick Craig, Dateline NBC. I've got a couple questions for you.
Yeah.
So, I want to give a shout out to our boy UGX Vibe for sending us this link. We always appreciate people sending us links and things. There's so much news that comes out throughout the week. So, thank you to him for posting that and letting us know. So this will be on our radar. Do you think we'll ever talk about this game again?
No, unless something kind of ridiculous happens about it.
Do you think it'll come out in March? March 2020.
Something will come out.
3 months.
Yeah, I think something will come out. What? I mean, they'll come out into alpha.
Do you think it'll release in March? Is my question.
I think there will be a release in March. Yes.
Okay. Put it in the book. Put it in the book.
And it's ANAREA.
ANAREA. I mean, it's a terrible name. ANAREA.
Okay.
I don't know. This is the hot button prediction for Infection Podcast.
December 13th.
It's December 17th.
December 17th. You gotta put the right date.
What were you reading? 13th?
I don't know.
No wonder the show notes are wrong with the wrong date. Brian's like, oh, hey,
it's the right date today. Don't even start.
All right, so that's ANAREA. You can check out their website, PlayANAREA, ANAREA.com. You can check out the trailer and check out all their social media. You can.
No, I said March, right?
Yeah, March 2020 is when they say it's going to come out. I don't think so, but that's to each their own.
Something will release. That's March.
Okay. I can.
Whether it's playable is another question.
That's a whole nother question. Sea of Thieves had an update. We've been talking about them a lot as of late. In this,
I've been tempted to get it.
now you have to buy. It's on the Xbox, the Microsoft Store on PC though, right? It's not on Steam, is it?
No.
I might buy this.
That's why I haven't gotten it yet. But I've been tempted because it just, you see people play it, looks like it's fairly smooth. People are really into it.
There's a lot of I've seen a lot of streamers play this as of late. There anything that you want to talk about before we show this quick video?
No, go ahead and play it.
All right, so here is an update from Sea of Thieves. It's got some festive tones, and it's part of their holiday update.
Than the new Sea of Thieves monthly update. So grab a drumstick and settle in as we feverishly unwrap the goodies of the Festival of Giving. A ship ferrying seasonal gifts across the seas has been sunk by some nefarious skeleton lords, scattering them far and wide. The most valuable gifts are being hoarded at forts across the Sea of Thieves. So grab a voyage from Stitcher Jim to find out where they've been buried. Best be on your guard though, as the new deadly skeleton lords guarding them don't take kindly to you pilfering their prized possessions. In an act of true selflessness, Stitcher Jim wants you to deliver all of the gifts to his love, the masked stranger. And offering her these tokens of his affection will reward you with doubloons. Those pirates in pursuit of rare commendations may even consider sharing the wealth and leaving a gift or two under the makeshift tree. New tomes hidden inside ashen chests are still waiting to be discovered. So take on the ashen captains and keymasters at active skeleton forts to claim your prize. You'll even find ashen chests in port vaults, giving you one extra way of claiming those red-hot ashen cosmetics. And even more cosmetics have landed in the black market. Whether you want to make an impression with some new threads or add a splash of colour to your ship, there's plenty to splurge your golden doubloons on. And that's not all, as you can now get your hands on all previously released black market items with the introduction of the Black Market Archive. And over in the Pirate Emporium, express yourself with the new emote bundles. Whether you want to brag about your latest catch, keep things stealthy on an enemy ship, or simply play it cool as you dab your way to victory, there's plenty here to cheer about. Keep your pets looking fresh with the new Pirate Legend and Kraken outfits, or get into the holiday spirit with seasonal themed pet costumes and weapons. And as we're in the festive spirit, why not enjoy the warming feeling that comes with deep discounts off of various items in the Pirate Emporium, including the Banjo-Kazooie and Killer Instinct premium ship liveries. And finally, for those new to the Sea of Thieves, our all-new Maiden Voyage tutorial has arrived. Join the Pirate Lord, then learn the ropes of adventuring, setting sail, and more, all in the relative safety of an island just beyond the Shroud. So grab your gifts and get into the holiday spirit with the latest Sea of Thieves monthly update, the Festival of Giving.
Thank you very much for watching. Remember, if you liked what you saw, then there's a wealth of content already on our channel and there's lots more to come, so subscribe and click that little ship's bell for all those notifications. Cheers.
All right, cheers to you, Brian. There is Summit's playing this right now on Twitch. There's 9,000 people watching him. Is it the most viewed game ever for him? No. But he seems to really enjoy it. I've heard him speak very highly of this game. He seems to really like it. And this guy literally is paid to play video games for a living. So, you know, something that's holding his attention. Jack the Fast mentions in chat that if you buy from the Microsoft Store, you do get it on both platforms. It's one of those cross-platform games, so you could, or vice versa. If you buy it on the Xbox, you can play it on the PC. PH notes that it's coming out to Steam soon TM, so that might be something to watch out for if you're looking for that. But if you do have an Xbox, it probably makes the most sense to buy it on the Microsoft Store so that you can play it on both platforms if you'd like. And It's popular, but it's funny though because he's streaming it, right? And then how many of it's sort of tough to do this. How many of the viewers watching him would be watching somebody else if he wasn't streaming playing Sea of Thieves? Because the guy below him's got 1,500. The guy below that guy's got 193. So you go from 8,000, 9,000 to 1,500 to 200.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, it's not so much about the Sea of Thieves itself, but it's what he does in Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, true.
Because if you've watched him play, he will hide on people's ships, and troll them, and then like take over their ship and then steal all their loot. He plays it in a very unique way, you know, and kind of talks and has fun throughout the process, gets people all worked up, and, you know, creates a lot of content that then gets seen, you know, on YouTube videos and everything else. So he does a very good job of it. But I think that for him, you know, it's not necessarily the game. It's, as we've seen with a lot of streamers, it's the personality of the streamer that they enjoy, and they enjoy watching him play that game.
Bingo. Yeah, agree.
So, so there may be people that say, "Oh, he's playing that game. I want to go watch," because they enjoy how he plays it. But if someone else is playing that game, there's a good chance they'll okay, whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah. What else you want to cover here? Anything else? I know we didn't get to a lot of the stuff, but fortunately we can cover some of this stuff on the next week's show. I'm sure there won't be a lot of news between now and then.
So Xera had 2 updates this past week.
Okay.
They had their 5.9 and their 5.10. So on there, he's been adjusting the character movements, and you know how you kind of move with like ADS and just the speeds. Also been doing some optimization and changes to various settings, changing some of the behavior trees for AI so they act a little bit differently, and then some fixes. Also in the 5.10, they ended that double XP event, added a fly option to the drone, and then did some tweaks, various fixes in the game as well. So with Arc, they did come out with, I mean, some pretty big patches, but they were mostly around that Christmas event that's happening, the 3.1. They added a bunch of things kind of relating to Genesis. So there's some things with Genesis, and then a lot of tweaks to numbers. And then the 304.1 was their Winter Wonderland event. So you'll see a lot of new items like the sweaters and hats and everything else that'll be in the game now from that. We have Wylands who put out a patch. So remember, that is free to play. So if this was pretty much a fix because they put out such a big version, you know, making so many changes with their 1.0. This is their 1.01. Rocket League also put out a patch 1.71, mainly bug fixes. No Man's Sky, they put out an update to their Beyond. This is update number 5. We'll probably show that next week because they have a video and everything with it, so we can talk about that. Survive the Nights had a dev blog. It wasn't so much about the content, so maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. ROE did an update. Conan Exiles did an update. Dead by Daylight did an update. I think that's it. Yeah, Rocket League. So,
all right. Forgive me, Brian. I got so wrapped up in show stuff. I haven't compiled any current player numbers. So maybe we could do some. Maybe we'll do backwards order here.
That's fine.
Maybe we'll do tip of the week, and then I'll get my
change it up for the holidays.
Yeah, mixing it up for the holidays. Absolutely.
All right. You need me to have an extended tip of the week?
No, I don't need an extend. No, I mean,
just offering.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. A couple minutes would solve me.
Couple minutes, okay.
Yeah.
We'll work on it.
2 minutes, something like that. I can
2 to 5 minutes.
2 to 8 minutes. I get it done pretty good. I got so wrapped up in.
No worries. Well, why don't you? Can you play a video while you do that?
Yeah. What do you want to play?
Why don't you play the No Man's Sky video?
Oh.
Your favorite game.
Yeah, let me get this. Hold on.
Or you could play the Rust video, which
I do have the Rust video already downloaded. I'd rather show the Rust
Okay,
video.
let's do the Rust video because that'll be a nice. Then we don't have to talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, perfect. So let's take a look at an update from our friend Shadowfrax. It is about everybody's favorite game, Rust, and we'll chat about that quickly right after this.
Greetings, survivors and friends. Shadowfrax here, keeping you in the loop on Rust development, and it's that weird time of year again where either nothing happens or something big and hairy jumps into the room that you weren't expecting. Something that perhaps caught a few people with their trousers down this week, though, was the sudden banning of a couple of very naughty mice. No, not those ones. To quote Facepunch from their support site, starting from December the 11th, 2019, all Bloody and A4 Tech branded mice are blocked from use in Rust due to increasingly being used to give an unfair combat advantage by counteracting recoil using onboard memory. Resolution: do not use Bloody or A4 Tech branded mice with Rust. All other popular brands will work without issue. Naturally, this announcement was met with universal praise and everybody just got on with their lives without grumbling. In other news, a solution to world hunger and the complete eradication of all disease were both achieved on the same day this week, and Rust players have suddenly stopped killing each other on sight. Far be it from me to ever use sarcasm in my videos, the truth of the matter is that some people were very happy with this development and other people, mostly owners of said mice, were squeaking their heads off. Now, I must clarify, if you do get a slap on the wrist for having one, that doesn't mean a game ban, just that you won't be able to play Rust with a bloody mouse. Or A4 Tech. The solution? Plug in a different one, which might mean shelling out a bit of cash if you can't beg, borrow or steal. I'm not condoning mouse theft, by the way. And this, I think, is the main grumble. You might have to cough up a bit more cash to play your favourite game in the whole wide world. And of course this is incredibly unfair because you'd never ever think of using one of these mice for nefarious purposes, would you? Now, I'm not going to assume anything here about your intentions, and if you have one of these mice and feel like you're being unfairly targeted, which ironically is the reason this has happened, then you have my deepest sympathies. Just remember, I'm only the messenger, so please don't shoot me, with or without recoil compensation. I guess this is why we can't have nice things. However, if you are looking for a workaround, don't think you can get into a server with a kosher mouse, then swap it out for one of the banned ones and get away with it. I've heard some say this is possible, but EAC checks at regular intervals and you will get a rocket up the arse at some point, probably at a highly inconvenient moment. That's not to say someone won't get around it, because life finds a way. But I would like to hear from you in the comments about whether you think this is a good move or not, and what your solution would be otherwise. I hear a lot of complaints about EAC not being effective, and it'll be interesting to see how many complaints there are when it is. Moving on, can you believe Rust is now 6 years old? It passed the milestone this week and is now officially older than some of its players. Mentally. I'd like to say well done to the team for bringing it this far and giving us the gift that keeps on both giving us heart palpitations and taking segments of our sanity. Thanks, Facepunch. In other news, there'll be a client and server update next Thursday, December the 19th, to add the usual seasonal content. No word yet on whether there'll be any specific new stuff, but you should find out soon. There was a bug introduced last week which could cause server crashes, but this has since been fixed, along with the plugging of a few more exploits. And I feel like I say this every week, because I do. In works in progress, the team are still hard at work on HDRP and vehicles with, you guessed it, no date on when we'll be seeing either of them yet. Although I think it's safe to say it won't be in this decade. Over the next week we may well see some new stuff, but I'd imagine the team will be thinking about winding down for the year, so if there's not much to cover then I may have to do a different type of video next Friday, but I'll try to do one nonetheless. You can support my work here in many ways. Patreon is a great option and comes with added perks, such as access to a private supporter section of my Discord, but just liking, commenting and subscribing helps the channel a lot, so please do so if you can. You can watch me stream on Twitch 3 times a week, plus keep up to date with me on Twitter, Facebook, Discord and my Steam group. Links are all down below. I shall catch you all very soon, of course, but in the meantime, keep calm and stay rusty. Cheerio.
All right. Good update there from our buddy Shadow Frax, keeping us up to date with what's going on in the wonderful world of Raw. I don't know what that was. So interesting. I haven't heard anything about those mice. That's not actually true. I have not heard anything about them. Was one of them at PAX this year or last year? Don't you remember that was hardware manufacturers that were in the middle? Weren't they called Blood something?
I don't remember.
I think I have a business card for one of them.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It was on the second floor, I think, and it was like a big white table in the middle, and they had all these peripherals on it, and they were talking to us. It was last year, I think. You have any recollection of that?
No, I don't remember.
I'll dig through my bag and see if I can find. I could have sworn we talked to the Blood people because they were hardware. And I was like, "What?"
You show it all.
Yeah. I'll look. Remind me. I'll look for that because I could have sworn we talked to them. But no, it's. I mean, it's good. I'm sure if Rust does it with any sort of success, I would not be surprised to see EAC implement that for all of the games across the network.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep.
All right. So are you good for player numbers?
Absolutely. I've been ready the entire time. I was just
the entire time.
It was just a trap to get you to
test.
It was just a trap to get you to play the Rust video. On that note, let's go ahead and talk about current players, the games that people are currently playing, and the number of people that are currently playing them. Let's start it off with the holiday event in Ark Survival Evolved, currently playing 29,797. The 24-hour peak, 42,066, with a 7-day peak of 55,938. Rust. I mean, these numbers are getting bigger and bigger every week. 39,419 people playing right now. Pretty incredible. The 24-hour peak, 55,491. The 7-day peak, 72,559. Just a couple months ago, this game was going kind of 1-to-1 with Ark. They've surpassed Ark by 10,000 people. That's a huge amount. It's pretty incredible to look at. Let's take a look at 7 Days to Die real quick. Currently playing 14,275. The 24-hour peak, 16,789, with a 7-day peak of 23,556. And that's going to do it for current players. So
good.
That's I mean the Rust numbers are pretty incredible.
Yeah, they just continue to grow, and they don't really have a push to have to do anything. I think they have a very consistent user base, but they continue improving that game so they don't get stale.
Yeah.
And we talked about last week the different audio sounds, and for the instruments and all that. Like, they're throwing in stuff that they perfectly tailored for their audience, and I think they continue to do that. And they'll continue to be successful. People will keep playing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and we went to their booth at PAX, and it was pretty much just a place where people could go take a picture with some of the tools and things. And buy some swag, and that was pretty much it. It had nothing else to do with the game. There was nothing talking about the game. There were no computers other than, I think, the thing to order the swag, to buy stuff on. That was it. So, all right, you ready for tip of the week?
Tip of the week, what's that?
Well, that's where I go through and either give a general gaming tip or one about a specific game. And we've been playing Ark a bit this week, so that's going to be tip of the week.
Oh, the cue for the intro? Okay, here we go. Tip of the week.
Yes, please. All right, so for those people maybe who haven't played Ark in a while, or you just played it early on and never really got into it, I figured I'd go over some of the recap some of the character stats and things that you really want to pay attention to as you're leveling up. A lot of people ask these questions, but one thing you want to aim for, people say, well, where should I put my stats? Overall, you should be aiming for about 200 health, 180 stamina, 120 movement speed. Other than that, you can put things in fortitude, and depending on the environment you might be in, which map you're on. Also, the first thing you want to do is make sure you start crafting tools. The beauty of Ark is initially you're going to be running around and punching trees and doing different things that will possibly kill you. I've seen people die from punching trees. But as soon as you can craft an axe and a pickaxe, you want to make sure you make those so that you have the ability to start getting, because this is a game where you pick up as many materials as you can. Once you're doing this, if you keep on using the pickaxe on different rocks around, you'll gather metal pieces here and there, especially if you're using vanilla where you're not using any kind of enhanced gathering rates or anything like that. Getting metal will be a slow process at first, so make sure you save all those, put them in a box if you can, and keep them safe in a building. And then once you have the ability, get the forge and smelt those things, because you're going to want to be able to make a metal pick as soon as possible so that you can go up and gather more metal. Another thing early on when you're trying to level quickly, make a mortar and pestle, because you can turn around, make the spark powder in there, narcotics, and those will really help raise your XP. And if you have a group, it actually will give XP to everyone that's around those items as it crafts. And then you can turn around and use all those narcotics to really help with taming creatures later. Once you're able to make a crossbow, you can put the narcotics on the arrows, knock things out that way, so you don't have to run around trying to punch things to knock them out. Really will help you with your game. And then once you're able to tame some of those bigger creatures, then you kind of start into a whole new level of what Ark is about. So, but that should be that kind of that first phase of Ark that'll get you through that. And that is tip of the week.
All right. Thank you very much, Brian. And thank you for your work on the server, getting that up on kind of a last minute basis and keeping that all up to date. Looking at it right now, there's a couple gentlemen in there playing, and of course our friend Barbie, having a good time playing Ark, and it'll be up for, and as long as people are playing on it, it'll be up. So
yeah,
we'll wind it down probably in a couple weeks, but yeah, I'm gonna hopefully jump on it maybe a little bit tomorrow night and before Christmas. Looking forward to it. Oh, and definitely Friday night too for our game of the week.
Yeah, very good. All right, so you ready to do the game giveaway?
Yes, sir.
All right, we'll go ahead and close this. So what should we give it to Mike? Does Mike want this?
That's not Mike.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh,
probably.
sorry, that's Merle. Sorry. Do you think Merle wants this?
Oh, I don't know.
Should I offer it to him? I don't know if he wants it.
You should re-roll.
I will. Well, okay, so we'll give it to Judd, because knowing Merle, he'll never play it. I love how we pick and choose who will actually play the game.
Wow.
It's the most fair giveaway ever. So this is going to be for, it's Judd. Congratulations. I will send you a key, and that's for Bastion. I'll send it to you inside of the Discord. So I want to deal with Twitch chat.
Face is looking a little red there, Brian.
What? Is he supposed to be offended that I called him Mike and not Merle? Are you saying something about Mike, or are you saying something about Merle?
No comment. Where can people find you on the internet, Brian?
Well, if you want to find me I love we're like talking all this like internal stuff. People have no idea who these people are.
They don't need to. It's fun.
It's fine. So at Boise Computer on Twitter. Of course, my blog, biteoftech.com. Make sure you go and check out our website, infectionpodcast.com. And on the right-hand side, join our Discord server, especially if you want to participate in the Ark or any of the games that we're playing over the holidays. You can do that through our server. Also, submit news if you think there's a game we should be talking about. We have our Steam group if you want to get a notification when we're doing, because we're going to maybe have some different days that we're doing our shows. And so if you want to go around and get a notification of that on your computer, join the Steam group. We have our Twitch, our YouTube, our Mixer accounts on there if you want to watch the video versions. And then also we have the audio only versions. So on the show notes, if there's a lot of things we kind of went through very quickly at the end, or maybe there's some things that we talked about but we didn't show, you can do that. Check out the show notes on there, and amazon.infectionpodcast.com if you're going to be purchasing things for Christmas for people. Humble.infectionpodcast.com if you're going to be doing any purchases through Humble Bundle, and of course all the Twitch Prime subscriptions that people do, which I don't did we thank people for those at the beginning of the show?
No, I don't think we did. I've got a couple people to thank here. I want to thank our friend Sereth and It's Judd are the only two names I see on my list here. Do you have any other individuals?
I'm looking. Not right away, so I'm not seeing any immediate ones standing out. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Sereth and Judd. We greatly appreciate it, and everybody else that is part of our Twitch subscriber group here on Twitch. Twitch.
Oh, and Judd also gave us a tip of $4.
Oh, yeah. My man.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, Judd. We appreciate it. Artie, Brian, thank you. Thanks for the ARC server. And again, next week's show is going to be it's going to be like a not super time sensitive Christmas show. It will be on Tuesday. So we will go ahead and we'll go ahead and have that out next week. So if there's something you think that we need to talk about, throw it in our Discord over the next couple days, and we'll be recording that show later this week. And we'll talk to you next week on the Christmas show. Artie, Brian, again, thank you. We'll see you Friday night for Game of the Week ARC, and then we'll see you next Tuesday, Christmas Eve, for a special Christmas edition of Infection, the survival podcast. Alrighty, folks. Well, if you're not joining us live, then you're making a huge mistake. You can join us here live every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, right here on our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Infection Podcast. My name is Nick Craig. You can follow me on Twitter at Nicholas M. Craig. Of course, you can visit our website if you missed any parts of the show, videos, links, show notes, images, all that on our website. It's infectionpodcast.com. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. Have a great week. We'll see you next time.